Just because you married doesn't mean you become ugly all of a sudden.
Mm-mm.
You know, I tell people that all the time. You got married. You didn't turn ugly.
Yeah.
So you still see attractive people, and people still see you as attractive. Welcome to Doing It with the Daniels, the podcast where we navigate life, marriage, and ministry. I'm Charles.
And I'm Tisa. Join us as we share insights, wisdom, and practical advice to strengthen your marriage, empower your life, and enrich your ministry.
Let's dive in together and discover the joys of doing it with the Daniels. Hey, welcome to Doing It with the Daniels, where we help couples get it on in life, marriage, and ministry. So glad to have you back again today for another episode of our amazing podcast.
All right.
What's up, babe?
What's up?
So what's going on?
Not much.
You good?
I'm good. How about you?
I am doing great.
That's good.
Why you so calm? You're not excited. You're very
I'm
calm.
always excited.
Okay. What are we talking about today?
Today I'm really excited about this one. So
Why?
we're talking about.
Never mind.
I think it's gonna be good. I think
Okay,
it's gonna be good.
okay, what
I
we
think it's
got?
gonna be good. We're talking about boundaries in marriage.
Yes, boundaries. Interesting.
It is good. It's interesting.
Well, what do you think about boundaries when you think about marriage?
I think boundaries serve as protection for you in marriage. It's not a
Yeah.
bad thing. I think a lot of times people look at boundaries like it's a bad thing,
Yeah.
But it's actually it's for your protection.
No, I totally agree. I think boundaries are, when we talk about that, I think about like the basketball court,
Mm-hmm.
and you have the out of bounds line or the baseline, and if you cross over that, you're outside of the area of play.
Right.
You know, there's a vast area where you play the game,
Mm-hmm.
and you can do almost anything within that area, within the rules, and enjoy the game.
Right.
Same with driving. Like, in order to keep everybody safe, you drive in your lanes,
Mhm.
and as long as everybody stays in their lane, it stays safe.
Yeah.
When people start getting out of their lane, that's when it starts going bad.
Right.
Things get dangerous then. And so I think in marriage is each couple, each relationship has to understand boundaries within their marriage, and those boundaries could look different for every relationship.
Yeah, it does look different for every relationship. 'Cause some people, do stuff that others can't do in their marriage when it comes to boundaries. But it depends on your marriage.
Yeah, your marriage and discovering what those boundaries are. I think some boundaries are key boundaries, healthy boundaries that all couples can learn from as they hear about what works for others.
Yeah.
And then consider, well, how does that fit us? Does that fit our circumstance? Should we implement that, or hey, should we look at something else? But whatever it is, think about what keeps the marriage safe. And I'm talking to those listening today. Hey, if you're watching, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe so you never miss any one of our episodes and that you're on board with us. All right. So like, subscribe, share, and give us a comment. Let us know what you think. All right. So I think that's key. Like you said, boundaries fit everybody differently, every relationship differently, and they should really put those things in perspective for them. But I think boundaries are necessary for everything.
Yeah, I think every couple should have boundaries.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but it'll look different.
It does look different, because if you don't, you can get into the danger zone, and you can get there unexpectedly.
Yeah.
You don't mean to fall out of bounds when you're playing basketball,
Right.
but it happens. You don't mean to run out of bounds when you're playing football most of the time.
Yeah.
But it happens, right? You can get pushed out of bounds. You can get hit out of bounds. And then sometimes it's just you shouldn't play close to the boundary lines.
Exactly. That's good.
Like,
I
don't
like that.
play with, I'll say it like this now, don't play with temptation.
Yeah.
Don't play with things that can be harmful to your relationship.
Marriage. Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we're going to talk about is keeping others out.
Yeah. And then, I think we kind of hit on that in another
did.
episode. One of the key things that we kind of believe should be a part of a relationship.
Yeah.
But that's a boundary.
It is.
Keeping others out of your business
Yes.
in your marriage. Everybody should know your business.
Exactly.
When you start telling everything, you're out of bounds.
Yeah, I don't feel like you should tell intimate details of your marriage struggles, problems, issues, things like that. It just shouldn't be talked about freely amongst your friends, family, coworkers, mom, dad, aunties. You just shouldn't do that. And
Yeah.
I just feel like every couple should implement that as a boundary. You should have trusted individuals where you go and seek counseling, and when you're having issues, because we all have, issues in marriage. We're going to have situations that come up, and you just need to have the right people to talk to. And
Yeah.
it's just not good to talk to any and everybody about a situation that you have going on.
Yeah, a lot of people mess up when they have trauma, like you were mentioning, trauma in the relationship, and they feel the need to vent.
Yeah.
Here's another one too. When we talk about keeping others out, we didn't mention this, but this is a good one too. We talked about keeping family out, your aunts, your uncles,
Yeah.
your cousins, your niece, your nephew. They should know the inner workings of your marriage. Your
Right.
siblings, your parents, they should know, because they don't always recover when the relationship recovers.
Right.
But the other side of it is this. I see a lot of people, they go and they put all their business on social media.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Go shooting off. Because I guess people use that as a place to vent.
Yeah.
And then, because why do you do that? Because you get comments back, you get people talking to you about your situation, and sometimes it makes you feel better about what you're saying, but you don't really have nobody telling you the truth. You just have people agreeing with you.
Yes.
And that's not good.
Right. I think it's dangerous, because you're just spreading information to people who have no invested interest in your marriage. And so if you feel the need to vent, once again, you need trusted advisors and people that you can go and share that information with, knowing that it won't go any further than that space.
And I'll say this, like, you're telling your side, but
Yeah.
there's always three sides to a story. It's your side, it's their side, and then there's the truth somewhere down in there. And so they're hearing one-sided story. So they're agreeing with only what you're telling them.
Yeah.
And so that's why you and you and your spouse need to go together and sit with somebody so they can actually hear both sides and give you the right advice.
Hopefully an unbiased
And yes.
perspective on it, because a lot of times we believe what we believe,
Yeah.
and the other part believe what they believe. But when you take somebody who's not in it, they can hear what's not being said.
Exactly.
They can see what's not being recognized
Yeah.
in the disagreement or whatever the case may be,
And give you an honest judgment
Yeah.
on what's going on.
But I think that social media piece needs to be a boundary for a lot of relationships. If you and your spouse have a disagreement, we shouldn't open Facebook and see it. We shouldn't see it on Instagram, because you put an image and a caption about what's going wrong in your relationship. We shouldn't see that.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? That's not healthy, and it's not beneficial to your relationship. I've seen different people post things, and thank God, I saw somebody the other day posted something about their relationship, and I mean, it was bad. It was really bad. They were really saying some negative things.
Wow.
And later on, they took it down, and I was so grateful to see that they removed it
That's good.
from social media. But at that point, I mean, it's the internet, it's social media. It's
So
already out
people
there.
already saw it.
People are already thinking, "Ooh, what's wrong with them? Ooh, what's going on over there? Ooh, what
Yeah.
happened?" That's none of their business. It's
Yeah.
none of our business.
Yeah.
But when you put it out there, you cross a boundary line.
Yeah.
And you start bringing other people into your marriage, and that's a place where they don't belong.
Right. Exactly. I
Yeah.
agree.
So you
wholeheartedly.
need. It's kind of like growing up, especially if you grew up in a black household.
Yeah.
What go on in this house, stay in this house. Now, I'm not saying that that's 100% okay, because it was a lot of trauma that took place
Yeah.
within those confines. But when you talk about marriage, there is some truth to that regarding your marriage, that what
Yeah.
goes on within your household. And I'm not talking about harmful things. I'm not talking about abuse and all type of craziness,
Yeah.
but just your disagreements. Those things don't need to be shared every time you and your spouse have a disagreement.
Exactly.
Right? You're going to have plenty of those
Yeah.
over the life of your marriage. You're going to have plenty of challenges. And even if it gets even worse, if it becomes something of infidelity of that nature, even that stays in your
the marriage.
house.
Yeah. Because you're gonna what happens when you work through it?
Yeah.
Then all the people that you've told are looking at your spouse like, I can't believe she stayed with him, or I can't believe he stayed with her.
And I've seen a lot of couples, they will forgive.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, I mean, they have nothing to forgive on the outside, but they don't easily forget.
No, they're gonna hold it.
And every time they see you, they remember and they whisper it. I mean, people are just like that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But you don't have to have that if you don't put your business out there.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
All right.
That's
So
a
the
boundary.
next one is not communicating with exes.
Ooh,
This is a good one.
I like that one because there's a lot of people out here that think it's okay to have conversations with their exes. I remember one time my spouse, look in the camera, had a phone conversation.
What? Wait a
with an
minute. What?
ex.
You got to fix that. You
Fix
got
what?
No, you can't. I ain't gonna
What
let
did
you.
I say that was wrong?
That's not how it went.
Did you have phone conversation?
But did you not approve it?
I did approve it, but I said you had a phone conversation. How was I going to deny it? You grown. I'm gonna tell you who you
But
talk
how
to.
did it happen? It was very respectful. You trying to put me out there on
out
Front
there
Street?
Talking to your exes. But no, the situation was there was an ex of yours from years past.
From like childhood, like middle school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you. For me, them kind of exes like don't really count. I'm like,
no, because that was my friend. Like
whatever.
you know, I mean, that's what you said. It's my friend, my friend.
See,
so
you want to throw little shots over here.
So it's my friend. So we were friends for real. We good.
That's how it started. We just friends.
It ain't nothing like that.
But
Middle school.
But this guy from back then, and I mean, what is middle school? So your number was the same in middle school. See, we gonna get on you because he had your current phone number.
We was friends though, but it was
you was friends.
But we
you had a
dated
cell
in
phone.
Middle school. Maybe.
Number? How did he get your number later on down the road?
I'm trying to think. Maybe high school. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe high school.
There's some gaps in the story. Now let me finish telling my story. So one night we're at home and he calls your phone. This never happened before.
Never happened.
He calls your phone and he says he has something that's happened. Real serious situation, real traumatic. And he calls your phone in a panic and he says, I need to talk to you about something. In that case, he was mentioning he couldn't reach anybody else and he needed somebody he could talk to and share what was going on. And
we had just got married, right?
We've been married for a short while, And he made a statement, he wasn't trying to be disrespectful. And he did ask you to ask me if it was okay if he had that conversation with you. And so I did. I said it was okay after hearing what the situation was and what was going on. I did say it was okay. And you had the conversation. And that was it. That was the last time you all spoke, as far as I know.
What?
You ain't confirmed or denied.
What do you mean?
What do you mean what I mean? That was the last time you all spoke, as far as I know.
If I saw him like in the street, hey, how you doing? Something wrong with that?
Yep.
Oh my God.
You got permission. But anyway.
I gotta ask for permission. Hold on, let me hold on before I say hey to you. Babe, is it okay for me to say hey? I just see
But anyway, that situation wasn't a bad situation.
Right.
But it was he handled it respectfully.
Yeah.
And it wasn't an ongoing thing. And I still feel the way I feel. Like, tell next time you find somebody else to call. I mean, I still feel that way. Like, don't call my wife. I mean, I know this situation is rough, but you can call somebody else next time. You can find you a 911 because this ain't it.
Yeah.
And so that's one of those things because it can lead to other things. It can lead to, oh, I called you before. Let me call you again. And then it can lead to frequent conversations that can go other places.
Yeah.
And so you need boundaries. It's like, no, we're not talking like that. Okay, this is a one-time thing. I understand you're going through, and I don't want anything bad to happen as a result of what's going on in your world. And we understand that. But this is not, I'm not your helpline.
Yeah.
And I think some couples have to realize that you may have somebody from your past, an ex or whoever, but I'm not your lifeline anymore.
Yeah.
Don't call me when you get in a bad situation. Like you need family or friends or somebody else in your life
Yeah.
that can help you. And that's a boundary I think we have to set up.
Yeah.
The couple should set up in their relationship so that they don't get sucked in something that is well meaning but turns into something else because of prior interaction with a person.
Yeah, I agree. Even when we weren't married, but I think we were dating, and you with the ex told me that was gonna always be your friend, and I was like, well, that ain't gonna work because when we get married, how's that gonna look, And so in my mind, I was thinking, so when we get married, is he gonna always be talking to her? Because you saying that's gonna always be your friend, and so that's why I don't understand sometimes how women or men can have friends of the opposite sex and get married and still be around and the spouse be okay with that. I guess it works for some people.
Hey, however they set it up,
because sometimes that friend that friend becomes, I guess, friends with the spouse.
Yeah, some people have made it work, and that's why we're not saying this is 100% absolute. You gotta do it the way we say it. I know for us, we've chosen that that's not something we want in our relationship.
Yeah, we just didn't do it.
Yeah, we didn't do it, and we don't want that. We don't want friends of the opposite sex that we're just like, I just don't feel comfortable with a female being my best friend and I'm married. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or I wouldn't be comfortable with you having a male as a best friend and we're married and y'all talking and texting. It just doesn't, it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
It doesn't give off the right thing, and it could create the wrong type of dynamic. It's almost like a door for the enemy to come through if given the opportunity.
Yeah.
And so I think for us, we would just rather keep those doors shut.
Yeah.
Like we're not saying because you have a friend of the opposite sex that you're absolutely wrong or you're in sin or you're doing something ungodly or you're cheating. It's not necessarily the case. But the potential, I believe, increases when you have that.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Other than that, I don't think we had to have these conversations. I think we just went into it like.
I think we had them, but we had the same understanding about it. Like we didn't. I think at first I had a different view because I was like, it's my friend, so I'll always be my friend. But looking back now, and at the time making that adjustment, I realized that was foolish. Like, and this was an ex. So how it's an ex that's a friend. How we gonna just be friends and we have history together? It wasn't like middle school history. It was, we young adults history.
Yeah.
And that just shouldn't be.
That ain't gonna work.
It was just unhealthy. It wasn't a good thing. But I was transitioning in my relationship from being a bachelor to having all the friends I wanted to. Getting married.
So you mean
No, keep going. Keep going. I just have friends. Everybody got friends. Everybody in the world, if they're friendly, they have friends.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
We ain't gonna go into that.
No.
So the next one is maintaining appropriate conversations with others.
Yeah. This is huge. What do you think about that?
I just feel like certain things that you shouldn't talk about with your friends, your coworkers, your, just people in general when it comes to your marriage.
Yeah.
There's certain things that are off limits.
Yeah. I've seen people go to work and have conversations about their spouse with somebody on their job.
It's not good.
And really, if you're talking to the opposite sex that could have an interest in you, I mean, even if they don't have an interest in you, it's still not a healthy place to talk about your spouse and what they did or what they didn't
not
do.
Doing.
Yeah. And you're giving somebody the bullets to the gun to fire and aim at your marriage, and it's not a healthy thing. So you have to be careful of the conversations you have and create boundaries there. So if I'm at work, we're not talking about my spouse. As far as y'all know, we great,
right?
You
but
know?
What if it's just not talking about your spouse, but just, friendly flirting or anything like that?
And you got to be watchful of that too. Be careful of that because, I mean, just because you married doesn't mean you become ugly all of a sudden. You know, I tell people that all the time. You got married. You didn't turn ugly.
Yeah.
So you still see attractive people, and people still see you as attractive. So when you get married, you have to have boundaries in your life.
Yeah.
That, hey, I'm married, so there's certain things we're not going to talk about, certain gestures, and people are not stupid.
Yeah.
You know when somebody's flirting with you. Like most of the time, you know it. That's your cue to remove yourself from that situation and avoid that at all costs. And it may even have to change the way you're interacting with that person. I remember a situation that I had years ago.
Come on, tell it.
I'm going to tell it. Situation I had years ago where this young lady I was working with. And you know me, I'm just a nice guy. I'm nice. I love to be kind to people. I love to make people laugh. I'm always cracking little jokes and just smiling, just having a good time. Well, it was this young lady that I worked with, and when we didn't work in the same department or what have you, but when we would see each other, I would speak to her. She was real nice. I was nice to her, and you know, I would crack little jokes, different things. We would work and go about my business, and I thought nothing of it. I thought I was just being a nice, friendly guy, and she told somebody else that I liked her. I can't remember what all she said. I liked her and something else or whatever. And the young lady came and told me. The person she told came and told me, like, yeah, she said that you liked her and you was this, that, and the other. I was like, what? I said, she done lost her mind. And I was mad. Yeah. I got real mad about it. And I ended up, you know what I said? I said, I ain't never talking to her again. I said, I'm done with her. I said, I can't believe she would go and say something like that.
She did to me.
Yeah, I was like, I'm being nice. I'm being kind to you. And you going to say that about me as if I got any interest in you at all? And I was like, I'm done with that. And it got to a point where I was like, I'm not even speaking to you.
Because you saw her, but you didn't see her.
She got, and went on by my business. I got no, hey, no, how you doing? No, nothing. Because I had to put a boundary around it because you're thinking this is something that is not.
Right.
And if you start spreading rumors like this, that goes against my character. That's a reflection on me as a man, as a husband.
Yeah.
No, we're not doing that.
That's right.
So you have to have those boundaries in your life to protect your marriage and your relationship, because people will take stuff and run with it. I mean, and what I realized, you used to tell me, you need to stop being so nice because women think you flirting with them. I'm like, don't nobody think that. I'm like, no. And I saw it firsthand, like, what, you that desperate for a man that because somebody speak to you and is kind to you and make you think they want you?
Yeah.
Child, nobody wants you. Okay, let me pull out.
Well, I'm so glad you learned that lesson, because I was trying to tell you and forewarn you about that, because you just, you nice guy floating around, just kind of. I ain't say floating around, just being nice and friendly, making people laugh. That's just who you are. And I recognize that, but I recognize when I'm with you and you're, interacting with the opposite sex, I realize that they take that as, oh, he like me. Oh, he flirting with me. And so I would try to tell you, well, you might need to chill out on that. And so I stopped saying anything. I was like, okay, God, you're going to have to work this out because he don't get it. And so that situation had to happen. And it's like, after that happened, it was like, oh, I got it now. I got it. You was like hot, like, oh, this,
I didn't like that. That's disrespectful.
And I'm glad, it had to happen, and it happened the way it had to for you to get it, because you don't want, to keep going on through life doing that stuff, and you got all these women thinking you like them.
That's a mess.
Yeah.
That's a mess. But you gotta have those boundaries, and so by creating those boundaries, it was a total shift.
Yeah, you shifted totally.
Yeah, but it was good.
It was good. It was good. It was an eye-opening experience, I believe, for you.
Yeah,
for that.
It kept me safe, and it probably, you never said it, but it probably brought another level of comfort and security to you. Like, okay, I know that that potential of anything is being cut off.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, what we got?
So that was good. I like that. Keeping communication respectful.
Yeah, and I think that we'll wrap up with that, but communication is important.
Yeah.
And that is, some people define this as knowing how to fight, how to disagree. And that is, you got to stay respectful towards your partner, your spouse, when y'all get off. Like, there has to be boundaries. There has to be some kind of governing rule in your communication that there's certain things I'm just not going to say to my spouse.
Yeah.
It's certain words I'm not going to use with it's just certain things I'm not going to throw and use against you.
Not only that, what about the silent treatment?
Yeah.
That's disrespectful.
That's disrespectful as well.
Not being engaged when, they're trying to talk to you and ask you questions and you're just kind of, I guess they say, to shut down.
Yeah. Like you put that wall up. And I think some people do that so they don't go off the deep end. But at the same time, I think there's a way to do it.
Yeah.
There's a way to say, well, let's table this for now and we'll come back in 15 minutes. Now, you can't be like, we'll talk about that later. Well, later is not a time on the clock or a date on the calendar. So let's not talk about later. Let's set a day and time, hopefully just a time. You don't need to go to another date.
Don't go to the next day.
Because you don't want to let the sun go down on your wrath.
Yeah.
So let's set a time. Okay, I'm heated, you're heated.
Give me 15.
Yeah. Let's come back to this in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And let's continue this conversation respectfully so it doesn't get out of hand.
Exactly.
But all that, I'm done. I ain't talking to you. Don't talk to me. I don't want to talk about that. That's out of bounds.
Yeah.
Because the relationship needs healthy communication.
Exactly.
Even with the hard stuff.
Yeah.
It needs to be talked about. Because just because you stop talking about it does not mean it goes away.
And then when you're talking and you're going back and forth, nobody's hearing each other. So you gotta really bring it down and make sure you're being respectful.
Yeah. And so let's go a little further with that. I know we're running close to our time, but when you talk about healthy boundaries with communication, like don't use intimate details of information that I gave you.
Yeah.
Because I trusted you with it. Because you're going to damage the trust.
Yeah.
If you do that. If you throw that up in my face.
It's going to make me not want to tell you nothing else. Like, oh, you want to go there. Okay.
Yeah.
Got
you will mishandle that and your spouse will not trust you with the inner workings of their heart and of their life.
Yeah.
And you'll lose something in a relationship. And don't take shots at one another.
Yeah.
Don't take what we call low blows, things that are sensitive areas. Now you hit that when you want to hurt me. That's out of bounds.
That's out of bounds.
You need boundary lines there where you don't go there with the relationship.
Yeah.
You just have to be careful with that communication. So like we said, word use and how we talk about one another and bringing up stuff that you shouldn't bring up. Those things need boundaries.
Yes.
If you're going to maintain a healthy and respectful relationship.
Yeah, that's good. I like
what you think about that?
I think that's good. Yeah.
I think that's good for most couples, most relationships and marriages. They should really think about it.
Yeah.
I don't think many of them think about it. They should think about what are our boundaries, what are our rules for our relationship to make sure we don't cross boundaries with one another and do damage to each other.
Yeah.
Every marriage is going to face some damage.
Yeah.
But we don't need unnecessary damage if
Exactly.
we set the proper boundaries in place.
And then just know that your boundary doesn't look like if you got friends and family that's married. Everybody's boundaries are going to be different.
Yep. Well, look, I enjoyed it. That was good.
That was good.
All right, listen, thank you all for joining us today. We hope that you were encouraged and this was helpful to you. Don't forget, if you didn't already, like this video, subscribe to our channel, leave us a comment below, and share with somebody you think it will be helpful to, all right? We can't wait to see you on the next episode. Take care.
Hey, thank you for joining us for Doing It with the Daniels. If you want to keep up with everything going on our channel, don't forget to
Like, comment, subscribe, and share this podcast.
Absolutely. We'll see you next time.